Hi everyone, it's Caroline Cousins once again, and I'm talking about switchwords this time. Switchwords. I'd like to give credit first of all to Liz Dean, who wrote a book, Switchwords: How to Get What You Want, because it's her book that inspired me to make this video, and also give thanks to a friend of mine, Melinda, for putting me in touch with switchwords in the first place. So acknowledgements done, let's get on with the switchwords. Switchwords are like mantras, and spiritually, mantras have existed for thousands of years, if not longer, and they are used by spiritual communities, generally speaking, all over the world to bring about certain levels of awareness, awakening, enlightenment, and all sorts of things. So they do that through the chanting of a phrase, the chanting of a name. A lot of the words will correspond to chakras, energy centers, deities, in order to tune into that vibration that that deity or the energy center or whatever represents. And that vibration then gets sent out into the universe. It's emitted as a frequency, and the universe has to match that vibration and bring it to us. That's the very, very basic way that mantras work. Obviously, there'll be those on here which will give a lot more information on YouTube about how mantras work, but that's it very, very basically. So a switchword's the same sort of thing without all the spiritual side attached to it. It's basically you're chanting, singing, or speaking a word which resonates with your frequency, your vibration, and with the frequency it represents. And as you're chanting, singing, or speaking the word repetitively, that vibration gets sent out into the universe, and the universe at some point in time, usually immediately, will bring back match that frequency to you and manifest what it is that switch word represents. How much resistance you're holding in your subconscious mind or in your energy layers will depend on how quickly what you are chanting is manifested. So bear that in mind. Sometimes we can get something immediately, sometimes it might take a little bit longer than we expect, but the goal really is to keep on chanting, keep on saying, keep on singing these switch words, and sooner or later you'll get at least something towards what it is you want. If you're carrying a lot of resistance in your energy layers or in your subconscious mind, if you're carrying a lot of that, you'll have more blocks. So it might be that the universe is trying to bring you what it is that you're asking for, but you might be getting maybe a fraction of what you want. And that's just because you've got more layers, more blocks there to uncover before you're able to really tune into all of that abundance that is already there for you, okay? So basically they're like mantras, switch words. They're about matching the vibration of something that you're wanting, something you wish to manifest, okay? You can sing them, you can chant them, you can speak them. If you want to tie in that spiritual aspect, then you can, that sacred aspect, you can chant them for the sacred numbers, which are 10, 28 and 108 times. It's entirely up to you. I've found that it still works even if you're just chanting them as you're going through the day. If you're just saying them throughout the day or when you remember to say them, I find it still works. So it's entirely up to you what you wish to do. So it's an instrument of thought, a switch word. It's an instrument of thought that carries a vibration and it creates an effect outside of the self, okay? And after a while, when you're, as with all mantras as well, after you stop chanting the mantra begins to do you, as they say. So the more you're resonating with a mantra, a switch word, the more it's coming in, the more you're vibrating and getting on a par with that switch word. So the difference between affirmations and switch words. Well, affirmations, as I've said before in previous videos, affirmations very much operated by the conscious mind. And because they're operated by the conscious mind, the subconscious mind doesn't always accept them. And this is when affirmations don't work. Because affirmations really need to be put in such a form that they get accepted by the subconscious mind. And if you have one negative behavior and maybe 50 positive behaviors or programs in your subconscious mind, that one negative program will sabotage all the 50. So this is where affirmations don't always work, because you can be repeatedly saying the affirmation, let's say as a statement, and the subconscious says, well, that isn't quite true, is it? Because that one little negative program there says, no, I don't believe it. So the affirmation gets thrown out. And that's when affirmations don't work. And this is why, if you're going to say an affirmation, it is better to turn it into a believable process in order to bypass the critical faculty of the conscious mind. In other words, by turning it into a believable process, it has more chance of being accepted by the subconscious mind than being rejected in the process. For example, if you were to say as an affirmation, I'm in complete health and wellness, and there was a part of you in the subconscious mind, some little program somewhere that says, well, it isn't quite true, is it? Because you remember, you're not feeling that good when you got up this morning. Or remember that test you had last week, it said X, Y, Z, So that affirmation would get thrown out. And so you'd have to keep on repeating that affirmation before eventually it gets accepted by the subconscious mind, and new neural pathways are formed. When you turn an affirmation into a process, then let's say take the health one again and say every day in every way I'm getting better and better. That is more believable to the subconscious mind. So then it's less likely to reject that, because actually you've turned it into a process, and everything is a process. Life itself is a process. And it's more believable to the subconscious mind, that the subconscious mind is more likely to accept that every day in every way I'm getting better and better. So that's the danger with affirmations, that if you use it as a statement, it doesn't always get accepted. If you turn it into a process, it has more likelihood of being accepted. But the positive aspect about switch words is that you're only saying words. You're not giving a statement to the subconscious mind. It's got less likelihood of being rejected. And that's why switch words are more effective at getting into the subconscious mind and influencing, the programming that's lying in the subconscious mind, and getting into that shadow area of your energy. So they go beyond the conscious mind, switch words, and get stuck into where they need to get stuck in, basically. Also, switch words, they switch on the subconscious to bring us what we need rather than what we think that the ego thinks that it needs, okay? So it always has impeccable timing. Well, the universe has impeccable timing, but we can't determine what the time scale is for it to come to us. We have to just accept that when it comes to us absolutely in divine order at the appropriate time. The universe is always reflecting the amount of resistance that we have as well. So it will bring to us what needs to be brought to us at the right time, that we are ready to receive it. But we can still set that intention as to what we want. We're basically telling the universe what we want. So the other thing to remember is that when we created those blocks in the first place to manifesting what we wanted, we did so out of a very honourable reason in the very beginning. We did so out of safety, protection, a need, a survival need of some kind. But that was then when it was created. That's not now, okay? And it's no longer appropriate now, because if you're ready to manifest a different set of circumstances, then you're ready to move on, let go of those old programs, take you out of that old victim state now into one of empowerment. So it's always good not to knock the ego, because the ego is always there serving you in some way, but it gets stuck in these moments in time. So it's important to remember that. And what you'll also find is that by saying these switch words over and over again, you'll find that there will be some hidden stuff, some buried stuff within your shadow that will come up to the surface to be seen, to be dealt with, to be released, integrated, whatever, okay? So the best way to use switch words is to hold the image in your mind when you're saying, chanting, singing them, okay? So you're bringing in that visual side as well as using the sound. So, you've got the vision and the sound. If you can also bring in the feeling as well, that's bringing in all the NLP modalities, then even better. So if you're thinking about prosperity, maybe you're seeing a big sack of money or something, and you're feeling jubilant, absolutely jubilant for having that sack of money. I'm just using prosperity as an example here. So if you bring in all those things when you're saying, speaking the sound, singing the sound, chanting the sound as well, then the more modalities you can bring in, the better. So it makes it more effective. So the more layers you can add to that switch word, the better. And this is the NLP side. So bring in all the senses, bring in the sight, the sound, the taste, the touch. What does it feel like all the time that you're saying these switch words, okay? You can use them daily to clear blocks as well. You can use switch words, and I'll come on to the master switch words in a moment, which will give you an idea of the best ones to use in order to clear any blocks that are there. One word, if English isn't your first language, then you can use your own language with your own switch words in the language. And the best way to be certain about which switch words are the right ones for you is to muscle test. And you can use my video on here about self-muscle testing. But that is a very effective way of finding out what works for your energy. Don't get fixated on the timing. Some stuff will happen immediately, and you might get signs that's happening immediately. And by signs, I mean, maybe again, using prosperity as an example for the switch words, you might do all your chanting, everything else, and walk outside the front door, and there's a pound coin or a dollar lying on the floor. On the ground somewhere, or there may be a van that drives past with get rich quick, or something like that on the side of the van. I'm just using these as examples. So it's like, look out for the signs, because it's like the universe will match that vibration immediately, but how much of that vibration gets matched depends on how much resistance you're holding on to subconsciously. So before you begin using a switch word, set your intention for your goal. What is it you want out of using a switch word? What are you using it for? It may be just that you're going to use the switch word just as a daily practice to help you awaken, self-develop, bring stuff up to the surface, help you heal, help you find love, help you feel more loving. It doesn't have to be anything in particular. You might just use it just generally because it helps your energy. So set your goal first. As always, set the intention for what it is that you wish to manifest, whatever it is. And then look out for that confirmation, obviously. Don't set any time limits on it because, as I say, it depends on how much resistance you're holding on to and what else is going on, what else is being sent out there. So there are master switch words, and 3 of them I have here are together, divine, bring. So you can use those with anything. Together, if you are just wanting to bring any shadow stuff, or just bring you a sense of feeling more whole, or just want more flow in your life, you could just chant together, 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 together. All day long. And remember to hold in your mind what it is that you wish to create from chanting together. So let's just go through some basic switch words then. Again, you can say these as often as you like, or you can use the sacred numbers 10, 28, 108. I think I said that they were, yes, 10, 28, 108 times. You can say them. I think they're Sanskrit originally. How many times things get said. Anyway, so let's look at the healing switch words. I'm going to just give you a list of a few healing switch words now for you to give you an idea. And what I'll do on the details when I post this video is I'll put a few switch words on there, and you can have a look and experiment with those. And find the ones that work for you. That's the other thing. If you're not sure whether a word works for you, then muscle test it. Is it right for your energy? Is it, does this feel right to me? Muscle test it. Yes, no. Use the ones that work for your energy. And experiment as well. If you find maybe after a couple of weeks nothing's happening, not even anything small, then you can use certain switch words to release any resistance, and literally you can say release resistance, or you can use together, 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 and eventually things will begin to shift for you, and it does work because I've tried it. So healing switch words. Here's an example of a few healing switch words for you. Angel, light, divine, be, pure, clear, up, shine, Elohim, I am, envelop, wrap. So that's a few healing. I mean, there's loads more, and you can find your own switch words as well, but that's just a few examples. So what you do is you put a few of them together. And I would always start a switch word line with one of the master switch words as well. So perhaps you'd start off for healing, together, divine, clear, light, be, for example. And if you chant that again and again every day, see what happens as well. It's a really good experiment, and a very simple way of bringing about sympathetic magic. So it's bringing healing and again tying in that resonance to create what it is that you wish. You know, all these things, all these influences we use, even the tarot that we use, the altars, using anything that's influences the energy in some way, matches the vibration in some way, is called sympathetic magic. It's influencing the energy in order to bring in that vibration. So if you wish to manifest prosperity, you can use together, divine, count, find, on, bring, be, now, done. If you wanted to use the switch words to find romance, you can use together, charm, bring, divine, love, now, and again in any order that you wish to use them. If you want to use a word like, if you have any negative stuff that surfaces, you might want to use the switch word move. If you have to find something, maybe you've lost something, maybe even simple as your keys, if you chant reach, 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 again and again, all of a sudden you might get the thought in your head as to where you last put your keys. That works. And use the switch word build for success. You can also use, the other thing you can use for switch words is you can use flower essence names. You can use flowers, you can use crystal names as well. So whatever those flowers or crystals or even plants, you know, anything like that, herbs, whatever it is that they are associated with, you can use those as well. So you could use rosemary, you could use thyme. So if you're looking for healing, you know, you've got rosemary and thyme are fantastic antiviral, antibacterial herbs. So you could use those and you could chant rosemary, thyme, divine, bring, together, now. You could use that and chant that over and over again if you specifically needed healing, because you're then tuning into that resonance of the plants, the herbs, rosemary, thyme, and obviously using the other switch words as well. So you can do the same for flower essences. You can also tap these things in. So if you're into tapping, EFT, TFT, or tapping in generally, you can tap in, you know, together, 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 divine, 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 and so on, and go through the whole protocol with that. You can create energy circles. You can put them on your altars, you know, however you wish to do it. Use the ones that work for you. Utilize the master words as an absolute minimum, and remember that the universe's ability to deliver is unlimited. It's unlimited. It's only us that limit ourselves. We are already abundant individuals. We already have enough love all the time. We just don't believe it. We just don't see it. We're just not manifesting it because of all the resistance that we're carrying in our energetic layers. So this is a way, a very gentle, very easy way to get into a daily habit of breaking some of that resistance down and bringing stuff up to be integrated and released, and manifesting something a bit more joyful for us. So once again, I just want to reiterate the book. There are other books out there as well, so I don't want to take anyone away from any other book. But Liz Dean is the one certainly that I read. Liz Dean, Switchwords, How to Get What You Want. And she gives such a really good, simple explanation, and worth getting that book and using it. It definitely has worked, and I shall continue to use Switchwords. And most of all, have fun. You're a co-creator. Have fun, go create, enjoy.